Today on Jump Scare Reviews, the monkey's chain, the monkey's fist, the monkey! If that doesn't break the audio levels, I don't know what will. Hey everyone, it's me, Aaron.
I'm Michelle, and this is Peach.
Yes, always jumping in for the Jump Scare Review. Yeah, just completely hide my face there, buddy. That's great. Hi. So, we did 2 classic horror reviews so far. I wanted to do something more recent, and this is a movie that people have been so split on. I have heard people go from this is awful to this is genius, sometimes being the same person. Like, I have never seen in recent history a horror film that people's reactions were just such a roller coaster. Not since, like, Mother, I don't think. Except that this one is nothing like Mother. But I think I understand why so many people are split, torn, just going loop-de-loop on this thing. This is a weird-ass movie.
Yes.
It is so weird. And part of that is just what the film itself is going for, but the other part is what the film was advertised as. Mm-hmm. Because this thing is advertised as like a shitty Final Destination ripoff.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it is not that. This film, if you have only seen the trailers, you do not know what this movie is. This thing is a horror comedy.
Yeah.
But it's also like a philosophical horror comedy made by a super art house indie director. And it's all based on a Stephen King novel.
Yes. So
that gives you an idea of what this is.
Yes, it's a melting pot of things that you would not expect to go together.
Yeah, I kept looking at this thing like, I wonder what Stephen King, a guy who is famous for not liking the movie adaptations of his things. I have not read the book that this is based off of. I can almost guarantee you it's not like this. So I am honestly wondering what Stephen King's reaction was to this, or has Stephen King entered his John Carpenter era where he's like, I hold out my hand and a check arrives and then a movie gets made. That's it. I don't care. I'm working on a new book. So what this movie... we're going to do, as we always do, we're going to have a spoiler section where we get into like the deeper stuff on this. But I will give you the basic elevator pitch for this film right now. This film, on paper and in all the trailers, it looks like it is some film about some cursed toy that just causes people to die in Final Destination Rube Goldberg style ways. What the film is actually about, it is about death, and more accurately, the fear of death. Because, and I know you're gonna say, well, it's a horror film, oh, so you mean it's about death, so as in like, like how Jason Voorhees films are about death. No.
It's more of a psychological...
It's about the concept of death.
Yeah.
And it's about what exactly death is, what is the reasoning behind death, and also what can having a fear of death do to a person. And man, when you look at it like that, it's kind of genius. But if you don't like it, I ain't gonna say you're wrong. I love this film. I really do. It's one of those that the more time has gone on, the more I have really enjoyed it. But I get it.
Yeah.
I get that this is going to be, just like we said with the previous film we reviewed, it's not going to be a film for everybody. However, the previous film we talked about wasn't going to be a film for everybody because it was kind of a downer. It was a film that, was lighthearted at times, but was also kind of a downer. This one, as I said, it was made by an art house director, and it feels like it.
Yeah.
This film, for the majority of it, it feels like an Adult Swim show. I kept looking at this thing going, who the hell made this? Was it like one of the Aqua Teen Hunger Force guys? Like, it almost has that level of just wacky, off-the-wall sense of comedy. And there eventually came a point in which a famous actor shows up for a very bit part. I'm not going to say who it is, because I want to leave that up to surprise for you guys. But as soon as this actor shows up for one very throwaway role, I went, okay, who directed this? I had to take out my phone. I had to look this up. I had to see who directed this thing. And it was Osgood Perkins, who some people might know as the son of the guy who played Norman Bates in the Psycho films, though he has had horror in his blood since he was a kid. But also, when you look at his directing resume, he does, as I said, a lot of really out there indie things. And the last thing he did was Longlegs. And the moment that I saw that's who directed this, we were about halfway through the film at this point. And I was just looking at this going, who made this? This is so weird. This feels, like I said, it feels like an Adult Swim show. And as soon as I saw that, I went, oh, I get it. This isn't some guy trying to be extra quirky and weird. This is somebody who is just naturally quirky and weird, deciding, you know what? I think I'd like to take a crack at a horror comedy. This is what happens when an art house director decides they want to try a horror comedy. And the moment that I realized that's what this was, and I started looking at it as that, my mind just looked at it in a completely new light. I just had a completely new appreciation for this. I don't know if you share that opinion on this.
It's like, but I get it. I really do. And it's like, I kind of like this movie better than Longlegs.
I definitely like it better than Longlegs because I'm very split on Longlegs.
Yeah.
I was like, I get what you're going for with this, but
yeah, but like, if you're a quirky person, make quirky movies.
Also, yeah, like that's another thing. This film is way easier to take in because I did think this was actually funny. I was laughing at this thing. I was just surprised that I was laughing at something I didn't think was a comedy for the first half hour of this thing. But also, I want to point this out. I didn't have a new appreciation for this film because somebody went, oh, it's from an art house director. Well, then that means it's smart and mature. So, no, I had a new appreciation for it because I now understood what this film was. And I could now judge it as, okay, let me stop trying to figure out what this movie is. I now know this is an art house director's vision of a horror comedy. And now that I know that's what this is, I will judge it as such. I mean, it's like, if you get a burger and you don't know what the ingredients are inside of it, what all the toppings are, and you eat it, it's like, what is this? Is this spoiled? What's wrong with this thing? But then the moment you actually look it up and you ask like the waiter, like, I'm sorry, what is this thing? Oh, it's this ingredient. It's like, oh, it tastes exactly like it's supposed to now. Like, that's what this was. Yeah. So, we should probably actually talk about what the film is, though. This film, again, I went into this thinking it was some, like, serious, dark, Final Destination ripoff thing. The opening scene of this thing is Adam Scott, from famously, like, Parks and Rec fame and a whole bunch of other, like, very, well, no, he's not, he doesn't do really, like, indie. I gotta stop saying indie so much. He does a lot of, like, really, like, out there comedy films. And this thing opens with him running into a pawn shop frantically trying to get rid of this cymbal-banging monkey toy. And the moment he appeared, I went, I'm sorry, what is this?
Oh, no, it's not cymbals, it's a drum.
Sorry, yeah, whatever. But yeah, like, the moment that he appeared, I went, this is not... I'm sorry, this is... What are you doing here? Why are you in this movie? And he's just desperately trying to get rid of this thing. And the pawn shop guy's like, well, I gotta test it to make sure that works. He went, no, you can't turn it on. You can't turn it on. And then he turns it on. And then the monkey starts banging the drum. And when it finishes, the pawn shop owner dies in the most exaggerated, crazy way that I have seen in a horror film in a while. And from that point on, we're kind of just off to the races. It then cuts back to Adam Scott's kids, who are being raised by their single divorced mom. And they suddenly get the monkey in the mail. And I gotta say, the monkey has a great design. You might be looking at this thing in the posters and such and just thinking to yourself, like, yeah, it's just a drum-banging monkey toy. Just the way that they shoot this thing in the film. It has this aura. It should have the JoJo, like, Dio, like, or like little symbols all around it.
It's like, have you ever like actually seen one of those symbol?
Not one like this, but I have seen like the more classic deep.
Yeah, it's like I was wondering if like they used a drum instead of cymbal because of like copyright issues.
I know it's a famous thing. Yeah, these things have been around forever.
All right, because I remember.
I think it's because they won like the like. When it brings the hit down at the end, it's like the big like, oh shit, here it comes.
Okay.
I think they want that. Also, when like it's about to do it, it like the drumstick spins in its arm. Like, yeah, it just kind of looks way cooler.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, the cymbal banging monkey toy has been around for like who knows how long, and it's like it's always so creepy looking.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those toys that when you go to like visit your grandma's, they just have it there in the room that you were going to be forced to stay in, and it's just staring at you all night. It's like one of those old timey toys. We might not have had that monkey in grandma's place when we went to visit, but we had some kind of a toy like that.
Yes.
They're like, why is this here? Turn that thing around. But yeah, so his twin sons end up getting the monkey. It gets shipped to them. And I gotta say, kudos to the child actor who played the twin sons, because I kept looking at the two of them and just thinking to myself, damn, man, you couldn't even find two kids who even looked the same. They're twins. Like, I get you couldn't find twins and you didn't want to use the special effects to have one actor play both roles, but you couldn't even find two kids who even looked remotely the same. It's the same kid. This kid just did such a good job portraying himself as two totally different characters. I didn't believe it. Like, one of the kids even looks like he weighs like 10 pounds more than the other one. Like, I don't know how this kid just morphed himself into being a completely different person. It was like, seriously, that was one of the biggest what the fudge moments when I was just looking through the credits to see who everybody was. But so they get this monkey, and one of the kids and one of the sons is just the biggest dick in the world. Mm-hmm. He is just an awful piece of shit. He is just making his brother's life hell, getting everyone at school to tease him, to torment him at all times. And eventually the brother just, well, okay, before that happens, they do test out the monkey. And when they test out the monkey, bangs the drums, hits the final drum, somebody dies. And I will say, the main kid, he kind of realizes it's tied to the monkey way too quickly. I will say that. He just immediately kind of jumps to, was it you that did this? Granted, the monkey does have crazy murderous aura all around it.
Yes, and like sometimes kids will like
that's
jump
true.
to those conclusions.
That is true. That is true. I'll give you that. But after his brother makes his life such a miserable hell, he then goes to the monkey and goes, I need you to kill my brother. And then he plays the thing. Monkey spins the things. Final beat comes down. And then the mom dies. Mm-hmm. And it's like, there's almost every death in here is very comedic. This is the one like real like, oh shit moments. Like it feels heartbreaking.
Yeah. Like basically this is the death that like starts the whole story.
Yeah. And from there you see, as they're growing up, the monkey keeps, doing its thing, killing other people, and eventually, like, the two brothers come to an agreement of, this thing is killing people, we know it's doing it, we're going to drop this thing in a well, and we're never going to talk about it. Then cut to, like, 20 years later. Mm-hmm. They're both grown up, and they haven't spoken to each other since then. Like, the two of them split their ways, they have not spoken in years. And we're following the main one, who, his name is Hal. At least I hope his name is Hal. Because I'm looking at the credits over here, and the main guy is played by Theo James. And he also plays both him and his brother when they're adults. And he is now working in, like, a convenience store, and he just has this, like... He's not even a shitty boss. He's a nice boss, but he's an Adult Swim character. Mm-hmm. Everything that he says to this guy is just, damn, man... That sucks. That's it. That's every response he has. And he's like some kid who's like half his age. Like you can just tell that Theo James' character just hates his life. He's working in this crappy convenience store. He like has a boss who's like half his age and just like is incompetent. Like you can just feel it coming off this guy. And you can just tell from Theo James's attitude in this role that he just is miserable. And you find out that he does have a kid, but he hasn't spoken to this kid. Well, no, he does speak to the kid, but he speaks to him once a year. He split when the kid was little, and like once a year for his birthday, he shows up to have like one day with him. And you can tell as the film goes on, the reason why he left, the reason why he doesn't talk to his kid is because he is still paranoid about that monkey. Mm-hmm. He still thinks that monkey is going to kill anyone close to me. That monkey's still out there. We couldn't destroy it. It's still there somewhere. Anyone that's close to me is going to die. And so that's why he left. He doesn't talk to his kid. That's why you can tell he's probably got this crappy job too, because like he never even tried to stick around anywhere for long or like even work towards anything because like he was just so paranoid about this. And then he gets a call from his brother. And it turns out that their aunt has died. Again, in a insane over-the-top way. Every death aside from the mom is seriously like, oh shit, wow. Almost gotta give you credits for the creativity on that one. Osgood Perkins knows how to shoot a death that makes you just go, holy shit. So the aunt has died in a crazy way, and it makes them think, could it be the monkey? So it's the one day of the year in which Theo James hangs out with his son. And he now has to take his son back to his childhood home to inspect the monkey. And as they're on this road trip, you get a real sense of how distant he has remained from his son.
Yeah.
Because, like, and you get the sense from the son that he, even though he's a teenager, he's already gone through the entire emotional journey on this. Mm-hmm. Like, he is not like, why did you abandon me, Dad? You can tell he already, for the other 364 days of the year, he has already had that thought. And now he's like, yeah, my dad's just a fuck up. And this is the one day that I have to hang out with him to make him feel better,
like,
I guess.
He never even tells his son that he has a brother.
Yeah, there is a moment in which he's asking him for like a school report, like, okay, do you have any family? No, I don't have anybody family. Like, he is telling him nothing. And then there comes a moment in which he learns that he does have an uncle. And man, the actor who played the son just has the best deliveries on the, oh, okay, so you were lying to me the entire time. Okay, yeah, that's... And he just always has this delivery of like, of course, yeah, no, I'm used to this shit. Yeah.
I was like, I know how you are.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Like,
exactly. Like, yeah, he is just totally like, no, we're not trying to work anything out here. We're not trying to become friends. I don't even call you dad. And the thing is, like, yeah, you had a dad who left and only sees you for one day out of the year, and you can tell it's him just trying to, like, basically, like, doing it so he doesn't feel guilty or something. Like, yeah, you kind of see where the kid's coming from in this. But it becomes this really nice dynamic between the two of them as they have to go and investigate what happened with the monkey. Is the monkey back? And as they're investigating, way more people start dying. And in very weird ways. Like, I'm not going to reveal too many of them, but there's one person who dies from a cobra. And Theo James' reaction is, I didn't know we had cobras in Maine. And the realtor who he's talking to about this goes, well, there was the one. And it's like, yeah, that's kind of the comedy of this thing. It's like, well, yeah, of course there was the one that actually did the kill. Yes, we understand. Thank you. Yeah, everybody feels... I keep saying they feel like Adult Swim characters. They also kind of feel like Beetlejuice characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that... They're silly, but, like, also somewhat believable in a way.
Yes, they take a believable characteristic that we know in people we have met, and then exaggerates that to the point where it's like, okay, you're still believable, but holy cow. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. And this film, as I said, it feels like it's just some really wacky, over-the-top horror comedy about this cymbal-banging monkey that's just randomly... Drumming, sorry. This drumming monkey that's just randomly killing people. But as it goes on, like I said, Theo James' character has spent his entire life built around trying to avoid this monkey. And as the film goes on, you start to see his brother's reaction to it. And his brother has spent his entire life trying to understand how does the monkey work. And that's kind of what this movie is about. Replace the monkey with death.
Yeah.
And they keep trying to figure out, like, okay, well, how do we know who the monkey will kill? How do we know who is going to be next? And the answer is, you don't. There's no plan. There's no logic to this. Death is just a thing that happens, and it's not going to target anybody specifically for any reason. It's just going to happen to people. And if you live your entire life worried about that, then yeah, it's going to basically ruin your life. That's not a life to live. You can't live your entire life afraid of dying, because then you're not living. Like there is, and it's not just like, again, James isn't just afraid that he'll die. He's afraid that everyone around him will die. And you can tell he does actually care about these people, but that fear has turned him caring about them into
like abandoning them. Like he does not want to get close to them because he does not want to like suffer through the pain of losing someone he cares about.
Exactly. But there's like one moment where his son and him are staying at a motel, and his son like goes to leave to do something, and he gets on the phone, he's talking to his brother, and then he starts thinking about his son, and he's looking outside and he hears like footsteps that kind of sound like the cymbal banging monkey. Sorry, drumming monkey. And then you can tell he's not afraid that the monkey's going to show up and kill him. He's afraid that, oh shit, my son is dead. Like he's actually, like that is the thing that he's worried about. You can tell he does care about his kid. He does care about other people. It's just the fear has control of him. And it makes him a very, I don't want to say likable.
Relatable?
I'd say sympathetic.
Sympathetic.
Because like even if you can't quite relate to that on like a personal level, you understand he's not abandoning people for being a dick.
You understand why he's doing the things he's doing.
Yeah, you understand like, oh yeah, you just have this crippling fear. And that's what the film is about. It's, can someone actually confront this fear? And it's not like a fear of spiders. It's not a fear of heights or anything. It's a fear of the thing.
Yes.
It's a fear of the big endpoint. The thing that none of us... That's the thing. Like, I'm not that great with spiders. But I know I'm not going to randomly run into a tarantula. If you have a fear of death, it's going to happen. Like, there's no avoiding this. Like, I have a fear of planes. That one I will say, that's a definite fear of mine. I have a fear of planes. Doesn't mean I'm ever going to, be in a plane crash. Even if I am on a bunch of planes, it doesn't mean I'm ever going to actually be in a plane crash. If you have a fear of death, it's going to happen. You just have to kind of accept that, which makes that a very unique fear. And yeah, it's so different to see a film like this. And the more I think about it, the more I really do appreciate it. And when you see the kind of humor in here, it's so odd to appreciate a film like that on this kind of level. And I have to respect that this film is able to capture stuff on that emotional level while also having such a weird sense of humor. I know I've been mostly talking a lot here. Do you have anything that you want to add?
Well, you saw it last night as a refresher.
Yeah.
I did not.
We saw this like 3 weeks ago or something, but I was like, oh yeah, we're actually doing the review today. Let me watch it again last night for a refresher.
Yeah. But I did not see it. I had to go to bed early for an appointment and everything. So, from what I recall, yeah, I absolutely agree with you. It's like, I think I like it because it has an important message, but it also has humor. It's like, I like that in like, movies and stuff, like where it does have a message, but it's not like too deep and depressing. But I also like it when it's silly, but not completely pointless and stupid. So I feel like this is a good balance of those two.
Yeah. And I think the reason why this film, we already kind of mentioned this, but I want to hammer it back home again. I think one of the reasons why this film is so split with so many people is because it's so weird. But it's not just, oh, it's weird. That's a simple way to say it. It has a very unique style of humor and very unique style of horror. And I have always said the two most subjective forms of entertainment are humor and horror. everybody is going to find the same stuff sad. You see somebody saying goodbye to their dying wife, like, oh yeah, of course I'm going to feel sad about that. Oh, very sad. Everybody's going to find the same stuff romantic. Like, you might have different ideas of romance, but everybody's going to have a little bit like, oh, they did this wonderful thing for their partner. Yes, okay, well, that's clearly a romantic thing. Not everybody's going to find the same stuff funny. Not everybody's going to find the same stuff scary. Like, those are very different things. So this is a very weird Venn diagram.
Yes.
And I'm letting you know right now, the only people who are going to really enjoy this are people right there in the middle. I'm right there in the middle. I was laughing hard at this, and I was also like, man, this is kind of genius. I should also point out, we mostly said that the humor comes from, like, the quirky characters in here. I gotta hammer it home. The horror, like, the actual, like, death scenes, you gotta be okay with laughing at a death scene.
Yeah.
Because they go out of their way to make these death scenes hilariously stupid. Like, there is one guy, I'm not going to spoil it too much, but there is one guy who dies from stepping on a rake. In a place where a rake would not be at all, for no reasons, and then you see their face after it hits them, and it's like, oh my, that's physically impossible. But you have to be able to laugh at something like that.
It's like me watching a lot of cartoons growing up. I'm kind of used to those kind of silly things happening, so...
If you ever want to see what would it look like if somebody had an anvil fall on them and then their body turned into an accordion, but they were a real human being. Yeah, that's the level that this is.
Yeah, like, I remember, like, one scene where, like, Hal, like, he actually, like, fantasized about, like, killing his older brother by, like, just dropping a bowling ball on his face while he's lying down.
Oh, yes.
And I did laugh at that.
Yes.
Because it's just so absurd.
It's so absurd is the best word for it. Yes. Like, one of the final deaths in here, like, I will save it for the spoiler part. You don't know where it's coming from. You don't know where it's going. And I just had to kind of, like, sit there, like, stunned, like, oh my god, someone actually decided to do that in a movie, and they just went for it. Hurrah. So yeah, when it comes to a grade for this movie, I will give it a B+, because I don't feel it goes up to, like, that legendary, I will always hold on to this status, but man, this is the definition of a future cult classic.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I would agree with you. This is like, it's a very good B movie, and that's not an insult. But like, B movies are not. I don't consider calling something a B movie bad.
If you're getting into horror films, you need to realize B is a good thing. And I don't mean that in terms of quality. I mean, B is a very unique thing. It is a very, like, unique style of humor that is just like, man, it's just so different. It's just so out there, and it's its own unique thing, and I appreciate that. Yeah, so B is not bad. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, we're gonna move into the spoiler part in here. So I almost talked about this in the regular part of the review, because I don't even think that this is a spoiler. It turns out that the one who took the monkey and is just constantly winding it and getting people in town killed is his brother. That was so obvious, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, okay, it's not this isn't a mystery. The point of this film is not to wonder, who could be doing it. It's like, it's to follow this journey.
Mm-hmm. But, like, the reason why he took the monkey and kept experimenting with it is because, basically, he wanted to kill his own brother he found out that Hal wanted to kill him, and he accidentally killed their mom, so he basically wants to get, like, revenge on his brother for trying to kill him and actually killing their mom.
And you can kind of, like, see, like, yeah, okay, that's... and I do love that, like, we don't see the brother from the majority of this film, but when he pops back up and you see, like, what he's been up to the last couple of years, you see he has also been obsessed with this thing, but in the different way.
Yes.
It's the two different, really, sides of death, obsession with death, is fear of it, trying to make sense of it. And I love that they split that between the two of them. I thought that was incredibly smart. The only thing I will say, though, is that Hal is a very believable character. His son is a very believable character. Everybody else is so weird and out there, but that's part of the charm of this.
Yes.
I think his brother is just a tad too far. Like,
yeah, but it's like, at the same time, it's like, I kind of like the trope of, like, average guys surrounded by, like, exaggerated people.
Yes. Yes.
And that's basically what this movie is.
That is what this film is. It absolutely is. I feel like his brother's a little too far, but at the same time, you're supposed to hate the brother, so I get it. Also, that guest appearance that we talked about earlier in this film, Elijah Wood just popping up out of nowhere to play this very weird guru guy. I love that they were like, okay, he's the guy who's dating his ex-wife and wants to take custody and like full adoption of his son, so that Hal would no longer be the father to his son in any legal way. I love that they just went, all right, who is the most upsetting guy you could possibly have that like lose your kid to? And they were like, Frodo. Just like, yeah, who is a guy who, when he just talks to you, like, I'm not saying that Elijah Wood is annoying or anything, but if you want to go like, okay, some guy is coming in here and trying to be the big man of the house, get a guy who is known for being small and like have a very lilting voice, like very soft spoken, like, yes, hi there. I think that we should arm wrestle. Like when he just goes, this is the part where I arm wrestle you, right? It's like, oh my God, you. This is the most punchable face at that moment. Again, that's nothing against Elijah Wood. He knew what this role was and he leaned into it. But yeah, that was the moment in which I was like, okay, who pulled out their Rolodex? I was like, I'm gonna call all my friends to be in this movie. But yeah, the death scenes in here are absolutely amazing with how far they go with them. The guy who just got swallowed, he didn't get swallowed by them. A beehive falls, and just a swarm of bees come in and break through the glass of the car he's in, and he just screams, and they all just start going into his mouth at a hilarious rate. I almost expected to see him swell up like a balloon.
Same.
Not even from, like, stings or anything, just like...
From how many bees were in his mouth.
I was like, there's no way that many bees fit in that hive. That is a warehouse full of bees. That should be the title of this episode.
A clown car of bees.
Yeah, basically.
A clown hive.
Okay, but I love that at the end, they just basically, the two brothers come together and they finally realize, like, this thing has ruined our life. And I love how desperate the brother was getting to make this thing work and target his brother. He was just shaking it around, and then eventually let go. And it's the most intimidating the monkey has been. It just starts drumming, but then drumming faster and faster. Like, oh shit, you broke the death machine. That's not good. And we all just sit there like, is the world about to end? Like, what did you do? Like, is this like apocalypse level stuff what you just did? It's crazy. And I love the callback. It is an amazing callback. They have skydiving lessons, and it advertises on the pamphlet that he's holding that you can get married in skydiving. Which, by the way, one of the best lines from the Sun is, oh, they have a pamphlet for skydiving lessons. I figure it's the kind of thing that you're either really good at or really bad at. Only takes one lesson to find out. That's an amazing line. That's just a really, like, it's not even like a real natural line. It is a clear setup joke, but I was like, that's good. This is a smart kid. But yeah, there's like a little thing on there advertising weddings as you skydive. And it's just like a plane crashes, and you just see like the skydivers fall through the ceiling, and they're in like wedding gowns. Like, goddamn, I appreciate a good callback. That's a damn good callback right there. So yeah, and then at the end, the brother dies with a bowling ball. Amazing callback. Mm-hmm. But this is the part that made me go from really liking the film to loving it, is how it ends. It's him and his son just driving through their old town, and yeah, like everything's on fire. We saved the city, Patrick. Everything is a wreck. You see like some woman running around screaming with a baby carriage on fire. Like this is the definition of dark humor. Like you gotta be okay laughing at some horrible shit. And as they come to a stoplight, you see death. Just the pale rider on the horse come walking past, and it stops. And it stares at Hal, and Hal just stares back at it, and he just gives a little, and then the pale rider just goes, and like just walks off, and it is such a great, like, I know people are gonna say, oh, that hammered it home too much, but it's like, I feel the film earned it at that point. Like, if it doesn't be
like everything else was like so exaggerated, why not this? Like,
yeah, exactly. It's like, it is the perfect, like, man, for anybody out there who didn't get it, we're going to spell it out, and I know that's normally a bad thing when you have to just stop and spell something out, but with everything they had done in the film so far, it's like, You know what? I'd actually be disappointed if death didn't show up at the end of this thing. It works. It somehow works.
Honestly, I thought like the monkey itself would be death.
Just the monkey rides up on the horse.
No, like...
No, I understand what you're saying. Yes, I understand what you're saying.
And I think maybe some other people would have thought that too, so that's why seeing Death himself was kind of a disappointment to some of them.
I think it's more just like, the reason why some people might have been disappointed with it was just the fact that it's like, oh, you actually had to stop and spell, like, yeah, we got the message, but I'm just like, I kind of respect that. I kind of respect the lengths this thing was willing to go to here at the end, and also, you want to end on a powerful message. And Hal actually nodding at the thing he's been afraid of his whole life. Not because he's conquered that fear, but because he's just accepted it.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Which that's what makes the fear of death so unique is like, you don't overcome that. You don't find immortality. You just have to accept it. And I think that head nod, that's going to stick in my mind for so long because it's just that symbol of, yeah, I accept the thing we have to all accept.
Yeah, it was like, I feel like if they did not have the death scene, I feel like they also could have, like, had the point across about Hal accepting it because his son looks at him and says, so what are you going to do with the monkey? And he just says, we're going to hold on to it. So basically...
That's really good, too.
Yeah, so, like, basically he's saying, we can't do anything with this, but we also have to make sure it doesn't fall into the wrong hands. So we got to keep this in our sight. And basically it's him accepting the fate that death will always be there, but there's nothing he can do about it.
Yeah, you just gotta hold on. That's just, you just have to live with the fact that's going to happen. Mm-hmm. Until you can't live with that fact. Yeah, I realized the very interesting turn of phrase I just used there. And then of course it ends on one more really gory gag with the cheerleaders on the bus. Holy shit, you want to talk about an image to go out on. I feel that final, 30 seconds sums this entire film up. I know some people are going to be like, what the fuck is all this? But man, I loved it. I thought this was really good. The only reason, like I said, I'm not going up to A is I can tell this is one of those films I'm going to need time with. To see, because the longer time has gone on, the more I've really appreciated this film, the more I've really liked it. But it is one of those films I'm like, I can tell this is going to be a film that my opinion will change on for years. It's not one of those ones that I just walk out of and I'm like, instant love, oh yeah, it's going to be in my heart forever. I'm like, this one's going to sit, it's like the monkey. I'm going to hold on to this one for a while. And I can tell my opinion's going to change on this over time. But at the moment, I'm loving this thing. But yeah, anything else you want to
add? No, that's pretty much it.
All right. So, thank you guys for joining us for another episode of Jump Scare Reviews. Thank you. We're going to come back for the final part of our first month of doing this, because after that, we enter October, and then we're going to be pumping these things out pretty fast. It's going to be Thorgy-ween. Oh, you just asked. I'm like, all right, get prepared for that. I know how this is. We used to do this back on the old channel. So, if you want to stick around, make sure you hit subscribe. Follow all that stuff, or not. Listen, we're just doing this one for fun. We're just doing this channel because we like it. But thank you guys very much for tuning in. Come back next time.
Bye.